My name is Jerry Straub. I make documentary films on poverty both here in the United States and around the world. I've been in the worst slums on earth. I've seen misery and suffering that is beyond comprehension. One of the cruelest forms of poverty is all around us, but it is so hidden we barely see it. It is the poverty of alcohol and drug addiction. Addiction robs people of their lives and their families. Addiction steals their joy, their hope for a future. Addiction is an insidious disease that destroys everything in its path. Addiction impoverishes not only the addicted but also their families and society. We spend billions every year locking up the addicted. In the winter of 1998, I met an extraordinary man, a Catholic priest who devoted his life to victims of substance abuse.
That's it. Thank you, Father.
Okay, peace be with you now.
It's Chris, my first time.
Chris, good to see you. Your first day.
Yeah, first time here.
First time. Welcome.
His name is Father Peter Young. At first, I thought he was just a simple man trying to do good.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
In time, I saw him as a saint who exemplified the self-emptying love we are all called to practice.
Peace. Love you, okay? Take care and God bless.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Father Young taught me about mercy and compassion. Father Young never talks about Jesus. He just acts like Jesus, giving everything away, holding nothing for himself.
He's a walking Messiah. He really is. He lives, sleep, eat, and dreams about helping the downtrodden, so to speak, the downtrodden person, the recovering addict and the ex-offender.
We're building a community of recovering people, a posse. We're building a group of people that are supporting each other.
He once gave his shoes to a recovering addict so he could go to a job interview. Father Young then walked home in his socks. It was snowing.
I've seen him give sweaters to individuals who were cold. I've seen him bring street people into his home when they didn't have nowhere to go. You know, I've even seen him give cars to individuals that didn't have nothing to drive. Matter of fact, the car that I own, you know, it was Father Young's at one time. He gave it to me about 10 years ago so I can get back and forth to work.
When they say, you know, I know somebody who'll take the shirt off their back, this is the man that'll do it.
Father Young lives totally for the addicted. I recently called him at 8:30 at night. He was in a pizza joint in Buffalo hanging out with 4 guys in recovery.
What's your name?
West, David West.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I thought you remember me sometime. Yeah.
2 days earlier, he had been in Brooklyn fighting to keep a homeless shelter open. Did I mention that Father Young was 78 years old and should be home napping? Father Young will never rest as long as there are ex-convicts who are trying to break out of the prison of addiction.
Father Young has put a lot of good things in my life. You know, there's words for a guy like that. It's called saint. This guy is relentless.
I will not have second thoughts about stepping in front and take the bullet for him.
I tried to make a film about Father Young,
The theme of the movie is free at last.
but I failed.
Free at last.
Even though I've made more than a dozen films since then in such faraway places as Uganda, Kenya, India, Brazil, Peru, and the Philippines, I've never forgotten Father Young. The passionate fire that burned in my heart to someday finish that film has never been extinguished. Maybe, by God's grace, I will finish the film. Maybe not.
There gotta be a special place in heaven for Father. It has to be.
Item 10G, voiceover intro. Meanwhile, I've got to do something. I want to give you just a little sneak peek at this man's amazing work.
Now, if you know it's a dumb move to pick up, then you don't pick up. How many of you took an elevator ride to addiction?
Father Young works with the most difficult segment of the addicted population, ex-convicts and homeless people. Their chances of recovery are very slim. They simply do not have the resources to get treatment.
Creating vocational training and job placement is vitally important because many of our folks have never had a job. Moreover, they have a criminal record, which is a substantial roadblock to overcome. These people need a job to help restore their dignity. When our folks get a job, their entire attitude and outlook changes. Suddenly, they're proud to become a taxpayer. We're about to pull into the parking lot of the Schuyler Inn. which is the crown jewel of our training program. Not only is it a functioning commercial hotel, but it is also a school of hotel management and culinary arts.
Why drain money from the state and put us in jail when we can become productive people? This isn't a complicated process. It's a short menu.
Father Young was able to see the complex problem of recovery for an addicted ex-convict and reduce it to 3 simple needs which must be met.
I'm gonna get structure in my life. I'm gonna get discipline in my life.
Treatment,
There's still things going on inside of me, unresolved issues, insecurities, feeling inadequate, less than, low self-worth, low self-esteem.
employment,
In addition to the scholaring, we also run several businesses in the community. We run several cafeterias. We have 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken operations. We have a Just Enough flower shop, and we have an express copy center down on the south end.
and housing.
I'll show you my domain. Everything you see in here, man, I pay for cash.
This is my apartment, and I couldn't have done it without the help of Father Young.
This is where I live in. As you can see, it's, for me, this is it's a big step.
I have a nice, simple room that I live in today. It's nice, it's clean, and it's safe. It's a place for me to lay my head at night and start to learn how to appreciate things.
He spoke of recovery as being a 3-legged stool. Take out any one of the legs, and the recovery collapses.
And you're getting the treatment here.
Right.
But now, if you don't have the housing and the employment,
There you go.
On your face.
When you give a homeless person and an ex-convict those 3 ingredients, they can make something of themselves.
If it wasn't for him, who knows? Who knows if I would have made it?
Father Young is addicted to helping change people's lives.
I spent a few months with Father Young in Albany, New York during the winter of 1998. And for the next few minutes, I want to introduce you not only to Father Young, but also a bunch of his friends, who are also my friends.
Are we on?
My name is Dennis, and I've served a total of 10 years in prison.
My name is Marvin, and I did 17 years in prison.
My name is William Joe. I was in prison for 2.5 years.
My name is Irish. I was in prison for 2 years.
My name is Gwen. I was in prison for 3 years.
My name is Alvin, and I was in prison for 20 years.
My name is Lance. I was in prison for 11.5 years.
My name is Veronica. I was in prison for 6 months.
My name is Nathaniel. I was in prison for 12 years.
My name is John, and I was in prison for 3 years.
My name is Haiti. I was in prison for 2 years.
My name is Richard. I was in prison for 33 years.
My name is Salahuddin Sears. I was in prison for 16 years.
My name is Malik. I was in prison for 9 years.
My name is Oscar Walker. I've done over 25 years in cells just like this one. I was an active addict and habitual criminal. Today, I'm a family man. I have a wonderful wife, beautiful children. I'm the general manager of a hotel in Albany, New York. You're about to meet a lot of people who are just like myself. People whose lives of addiction and crimes were transformed by the efforts of one extraordinary human being, a priest who showed us the mercy of God, who gave us hope for life after prison and addiction.
I'm Danny, and I'm a drug addict. I've been using heroin and cocaine since I'm 14 years old. You know, I had a lifestyle for 20 years where I shot at least $200 worth of dope every day, and I could afford to do that. I had money. I was a thief, and I was a criminal. And I used to judge other people, like, oh, get this piece of shit out of you. If you stole a pocketbook, you were a piece of shit. If you shoplifted, you were a piece. You know, that just was, oh, that was below me. Well, let me tell you something. I stole my mother's jewelry. First, I stole the things that I bought my mother. Because I kind of figured, you know, that's where that addiction thinks, well, I bought this anyway, I paid for it, it's not going to be a big deal. Those were big deals to take from my mother, you know, and to take my mother's jewelry. Good morning, this is my mother.
Hi.
Who I love dearly, and I miss my mother. It's so good to come back to see my mother. Is it good to see me not using?
Yeah, it's about time.
It's
good.
My mother's never seen me clean. I've been using since I was a little kid, you know, from smoking pot, sniffing glue to drugs.
Yep, all the way around.
And stealing, and doing the things I never said I'd do. I swore for years that other people that stole from their mother was like, I had no use for them.
Yeah.
And then I stole from my mother. And oh, I'm so sorry, Mom. You know I didn't mean to steal nothing. I never wanted to steal nothing. Not from my family. I mean, I always stole. That's just...
People, right? People.
I love my mother so much. My mother supported me so much, came to visit me for years in jail. I'm on 118th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue in Spanish Harlem, and this is where I used to come every morning to shoot dope. You know, this is just what I did every single day. And sometime when the old man wasn't home, I'd have to go in this lot to shoot dope. You know, one of them little 25-cent waters, and walk past people back there, sitting back there naked, going to the bathroom, dead people laying back there, people screwing back there. And anytime I ever came on this block, and you turned that corner off at 3rd Avenue, you'd seen somebody sitting on the stoop, they were dead, because that's what happened here. When you went in the shooting gallery and you died, and the old man was here was good. He used to try to save people all the time, did everything he did, but sometimes he couldn't save you. And when you died in there, they went for your pockets, took your shoes or your coat, and they put you out on the stoop. And that's just part of that life.
I started using drugs when I was 13, you know, and I'm 43 years old now. That's all I ever knew. And to have ever given me a thought that I would ever be clean, I mean, I couldn't believe that. When my mother was sick, she was in a coma, and on her deathbed, I knew that she was going to pass, you know, and I looked at her and I knew she was just holding on for me, worrying about me. And I told her, you know, that I'd do something for myself. So I started this peace recovery. So once I came to Father Young's clinic, the Ultima program, and I've got my dignity back. Went through treatment, 28-day treatment program, which Father provides for you. You learn about this addiction. They have, you know, job readiness, helps you get ready for jobs. You know, I stayed there. I learned more about my addiction. I mean, the Eleanor Young Clinic is great for you. You know, a lot of people look at it and says they're not ready for anything. But I mean, to have your life picked apart and put back together. Good afternoon, Scholar and Williams speaking. I'm my director call. I took up hotel restaurant management. I had a fear of computers. I was computer illiterate. The hotel has a training facility there where you've learned everything that you need to know about how to run a hotel. I took up the front desk. Now I'm doing well. I've learned what I need to know, gives me a start on to further my education in computering if I need to. When I first found out that I was HIV, along being on drugs, it just meant one more problem. You know, I mean, I'm learning about my HIV. I keep up with my medications. I make all my doctor's appointments. Things that I didn't do, that I didn't even care about when I was out there on drugs and on the street. People that live in my apartment building, they have the virus as well. So we all know what we go through. And we keep the place up. We live a productive and constructive life like anybody else. My apartment is great. Father's provided me with that. I thought it was going to be an arm and a leg, and here it's like $100 and some odd, all utilities included. Father is great. Father Young he gives you his heart. He would do anything in the world for you. I mean, Lord knows, look at me. He's done everything that he possibly can for me, and he didn't know me from Adam. I really never even thought I was going to get this chance, man. I thought actually I was going to die being an addict. When I got to give back what I got was my recovery and my self-esteem back.
I assaulted a man. Okay, I used to deal drugs, and I used to deal drugs to him, and he kind of rocked me to sleep, so to speak. He ripped me off, just point blank. He ripped me off, and as a result, that I got desperate, and I ran up on him with a pistol in his place of business. And I physically beat him up. I did 6 years. I went up in 1982, and I came home in 1988. So I came home, in my opinion, today I came home worse than I was when I went away. Because I was bitter now. And it was only a matter of time. In fact, it was a matter of 3 years before I went back into the prison system. My second arrest ever was for drug sales. I sold drugs to an undercover cop. And when the money exchanged hands with me, I felt a chill in my body. And I knew something was wrong. And I can remember Carl, my youngest boy, saying to me, not to me, saying to to the correctional officers, "Can my daddy come home with me? He promised not to do it again." Today, with the blessings of Father Young, He afforded me another chance at life. I got released on my second bid in March of '96. And instead of going home, Suffolk County, Long Island, where I'm from, I decided to come to Father Young's program. I stayed here for 9 months in the program, intensive treatment. And I can remember I used to tell Father, I'm an office engineer. I ran a construction firm for 5 years. Father said, yeah, good. Now just go over there and do what you need to do like everybody else. And I said to Father, I said, but Father, you know, I got an associate's degree. You know, you read my track record, Father. This is my second arrest. I'm not a career criminal. He says, yeah, just do what you need to do. Okay, you know. And it kind of infuriated me at first because I'm saying I got all these talents, you know. But what the message he was trying to tell me was that, yeah, you got a lot of talents, Malik, and one day they'll show. But right now you need treatment. Today I believe in Father Young, you know. I'm a Muslim, I practice Islam. And Islam teaches us that it's not a religion, it's a way we need to live. We believe in what's right, see, and that's Father's mission. He believes in what's right, and he sees a need to save God's creation. If you can't help, you're not supposed to hurt. You see, that's what Islam teaches us. And this program is just Islamic. Yeah, I came through the hospitality part of the program, of the Ultimate program, and I was a waiter for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And I would say fortunately for me, but unfortunately for one of the guys that came through, he relapsed and went back out to decided to use. He didn't arrest his desire to use. And he relapsed, and it was a job opening, okay? So because of my work ethic and my desire to stay clean and do, you know, and be a part of this thing, Father hired me on as a waiter, as an assistant banquet manager. My job today, I help waiters to be productive members of society. I teach guys how to wait on tables, how to deal with customers, you know, and my main function here is to help make productive members of society, taxpayers. I'm a part of something that's real today, you know, and I can give back, you know, I can see other guys. I got waiters now that works at one of the biggest hotels in Albany, you know, and I see them being successful, I see them being happy, and that's my reward, knowing that I was a part of that. You know, I don't stroke myself, it's just that I was a part of that. The program works. The program works.
I'll tell you what, fellas, this is a good time for me to stand here now because this is where this shit had to come to an end. I literally lost everything. I had lost my job at this point. I had no place to go. The clothes I was wearing I had on for about a week or two. I don't even know. I didn't even remember. But I do remember standing here, and I remember and this no longer worked, man. I had to get out of this. It was killing me. And I think for the first time, see, I always knew I had a problem, but I didn't know when this was ever going to come to an end. I always thought miraculously this thing was just going to end or something was going to get better. I was going to hit the number for a lot of money or something. And it never went like that, man. The pain just got worse and worse and worse for me. I used to have to walk through these streets like a maze. I'd have to walk 10 blocks to get 2 blocks because I had to duck so many people, because I owed everybody money. Because this was my bottom. This is where I came from, and this is the hell that I walked. It may just be a street to people, but for me it was loneliness, man. I lost my wife, I lost my family, I lost everything that I had in my life. I feel blessed that I can stand here and tell you guys my life is better today. I don't have a lot of money in my pocket, but I ain't got to go chase the cop, man. I ain't got to run in and out of bars. I don't have to lie or hustle to people. I can just do my thing today. And that's freedom. See, this is the type of freedom that I got that I used to think that booze could give me. This was the things now that I can say and do that I couldn't do on my own sober. People like Father Young in my life that can have a little patience and listen to me and show me his way because my way don't work. And Father Young has really given me a good opportunity. I mean, and it's a very simple process. He's given me the treatment, and he's given me the housing, a place to live at, where I can come home at night and rest and wake up and get that quiet simplicity in the morning, cup of coffee, and not the weight of the world on my shoulders. And when my day starts, I have a job to go to today through the training he's given me. He's teaching me it's okay to be nice to somebody else. It's okay to do for somebody else, because the more I do for other people, the more it comes back to me. I'm going through the training now, and I'm not making a lot of money, and things aren't coming as quick as I'd like, but that's the humility piece, you know what I mean? And what I've learned is that everything that happened to me had to happen for me to be where I am today. But where I am today is all good. I truly have a little direction in my life today. I got a little hope in my life today. I'm a happy camper today. I'm happy with this program. The longer I stay, the more I accept, and the more I accept, the more I like who I am. I watch his face light up when he sees people do good. It's like that's his paycheck, just seeing people excel and do good. Man, life is good today, and I mean that sincerely. I'm out of here, man. I can't go on anymore.
When I was on drugs, I had what I thought was good days and what I knew was bad days. I prostituted. That's really what I meant when I said my house was a truck stop. You know, I mean, I would do what's called being on the stroll. Okay, walking out looking for customers, and I wouldn't leave the block. And I believe I walked maybe 5 miles on one block, back and forth. It really took a wear and tear on my body. I went from 145 pounds down to 100 pounds. It's a dark life. It's a real dark life, and you meet a lot of dark people. When you're getting high, that's all it's about. Your family doesn't matter, your kids don't matter. You know, nothing matters except that next drug and how you're going to get it. And it doesn't matter how you're going to get it. Comparing that to now, I have a reason to live now. I'm happier now. My life is so much different. I have an apartment. I'm engaged. I'm 7 months pregnant. I have a man in my life who loves me for me. And what's important is that he accepts me for who I am because he's aware of who I was. When I came up here, I had 2 pairs of sweatpants and a pair of sneakers. I had nothing else, okay? If I needed food, Father Young gave me food. If I needed clothes, Father Young gave me clothes. He put a roof over my head, okay? I had to work. The hardest work I had to do up here was stay clean. And I'm coming up on March 28th, I'll make 2 years clean. And I've applied myself to the point where I've been up here almost 2 years, and now I'm executive housekeeper. I built a foundation in this program, and I really feel like being here is basically giving back to the program, giving back to people who came in just like I did. This is my way of saying thanks, and I really appreciate what you've done for me. You know, because I came a long way. And I owe all that to Father Young and this beautiful program.
My last arrest was the attempt murder on a police officer. I lived by the gun, I died by the gun. I actually accepted the fact that I would die as a criminal. I actually accepted the fact that the best death that could occur to me was a bullet to the skull. That's the lifestyle that I accepted. I would go to prison and call it a job occupational hazard. I'm talking about Attica, Clinton, Greenhaven, Comstock, Sing Sing, years in the box. I mean, here's a guy that spent years and years and years and years in state prison. And I would sit in them cells, and I'd always say a question, always, every single time. How did I get here again? How did this happen again? The addiction says, your mother is no longer your mother, rob her. The addiction says, your family is no longer your family, rob them. The addiction says, you don't care about your children, abandon them. The addiction says, the most important thing in this world is not your life, but this addiction. I can remember being on the run and going to New York and having a connect, not in another country, but underground. I live with the mole people. I actually shared space with rodents that were so large I mistaken them for cats. Father Young, he creates an opportunity for you. Because I came with some of the baggage that some of the other people did when I first heard of Father Young. I'm black, I'm a heroin addict, I'm a criminal, I'm my age. I came with a whole slew of things. I mean, I had a gambit of them. Father Young says, okay, let's take away those things. I'll give you a place to live. I'll house you, and I'll train you. to be employable. I'm the general manager today. A guy that came from underground with them old people. A guy that knew nothing about responsibility, a guy that knew nothing about dedication, a guy that knew nothing about commitment. Father Young has unconditional love. He's been my mentor. He was the man that made the difference in my life. He said, today is a day I've never had before. Today is a day I'll never see again. Today is the day that I'll make the best of. And it was on that day that I started making the best of my life.
27 years ago, I was homeless, helpless, useless, worthless, a bum in the street. My name is George Schindler. Before that time, I had been an Assistant Attorney General of the state of New York. I'd gone from that to panhandling in a very short time because of my abuse of alcohol and my alcoholism. Prior to that time, I'd been fortunate enough to go to college with a man named Peter G. Young, who later became a priest and was helping the people afflicted with the disease of alcoholism. He was operating a flop house on Clinton Avenue, and I stumbled in there one night and renewed my acquaintance with him. With his help, I was able to get into detox and start the road back to recovery. He gave me a place to live. He helped me get a job. The three-legged stool was born there for me. That's what the Altamont program is all about. Treatment, housing, and occupation, a job to restore your self-respect. With the help of Father Young and people interested in the program, I've had 26 years of wonderful sobriety. I'm very thankful for what the Altamont program has done for me. With the support of my family, I've been able to lead a productive and very, very happy life.
People keep fighting Father Young. Here he is just helping people and producing good citizens. The people I work around, the role models in my life today. The real role model to me is a guy who's been in jail for 20 years. He's the general manager of the hotel. I couldn't think of anyone more I could look up to today because he's a man who walked in my shoes and he can tell me today, you don't have to live like that. There's no difference between me, him, or anyone else. And all the people on the street, all they have to do is realize all they need is that little bit of hope that I was free to give.
Father Young, I love him. He's great. He'll give you the shirt off his back and his coat.
Father Young deals with everyone on a one-to-one basis, and he makes you really feel like you're the only one in the program that he's dealing with. Meanwhile you're not.
He does this not just on an individual level, but on a mass individual level.
Just think of the abundance of people who come through this program who he does this for every single day.
10 years after my failed attempt at making a film about Father Young, he is still fighting for the addicted. At 78 years old, he still runs around New York State like a crazy teenager.
I'll tell you, you can make a big impression if you can hang around your legislator's office back home. There you can get the ear and you can tell that person who represents you that this is intolerable. We need to have a way to get rehabilitation rather than incarceration.
And thanks to the economic downturn resulting from the war in Iraq and the rising prices of gas and food, funding for his many programs is harder to find. Father Young needs to raise $1 million every 2 weeks.
Why does Father Young have to do this alone? Sooner or later, them people, them politicians and them big fancy buildings, they're going to have to come to terms with this.
I urge you to help him. I'm going to try to help him by finishing my film so more people can learn not only about Father Young, but also about the dreadful nature of addiction and what it takes to beat it.
They need the three things: the treatment, the housing, and the job. With that kind of a cooperative effort, they can win the battle.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.
Free at last. Freedom from active addiction. No more chains, no more bars. Today I'm thinking clearly, so I'm free.
I'm free to make choices. I don't have to be anybody's slave. I don't have to be my own slave.
Free at last to me means there's no more bars. There's no more crying.
The message is hope. The promise is freedom.
Today I can get up in the morning and I can say, free at last.
And without it, they lose the battle. Without it, they're back in the mix, and they're back incarcerated.
Father Young's a totally amazing man. He sees a cause, he knows it's right, and he goes after it. Father Young is just totally dedicated. He's a kind of a combination of Dick Butkus and Mother Teresa. He's with you every inch of the way, and thank God.